Here's some exciting news for Apple fans and smartphone enthusiasts alike. The upcoming iPhone 17 series might finally close the gap with Android phones when it comes to RAM. Industry analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, who is well known for his accurate Apple predictions, says Apple is planning to equip every iPhone 17 model with a hefty 12 gigabytes of RAM. This is a significant jump from the 8 gigabytes RAM found in recent models. For years, Apple has been criticized for using less RAM than its Android competitors. People often joked about how iPhones seemed underpowered on paper because they had less memory. But Apple always defended this by saying their hardware and software are optimized so well that they don't need as much RAM to perform smoothly. Their argument has been that this synergy between the iPhone's components lets it do more with less RAM compared to Android phones. The first real change in iPhone RAM came with the iPhone 15 Pro, which upgraded to 8 gigabytes. Before that, iPhones generally had less RAM than even budget Android phones, which now commonly offer 8 gigabytes as a standard. So when Apple made this jump, it was a bit of a surprise, and some people even made fun of Apple for finally catching up. Apple linked this increase to their growing focus on AI features, explaining that 8 gigabytes was the minimum needed for the iPhone's AI capabilities to run efficiently. However, now it seems Apple has more reasons to boost RAM even further, whether it's because of further advancements in AI, declining iPhone market share, or just the need to stay competitive. Apple is clearly feeling the pressure. Ming-Chi Kuo says Apple wants all iPhone 17 models, including the rumored iPhone 17 Air, to come with 12 gigabytes of RAM. The iPhone 17 Air is expected to be a slimmer, lighter model that will compete with Samsung's Galaxy S25 Edge. That said, Apple's plans might face some challenges. Current supply chain issues could force Apple to equip the base iPhone 17 model with only 8 gigabytes of RAM temporarily. But Kuo believes Apple is committed to making 12 gigabytes standard across all models by the time the iPhone 18 launches next year. Why is this important? For comparison, Samsung's Galaxy S25 Ultra, which is Apple's biggest rival in the smartphone market, comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM by default and even offers 16 gigabytes in some regions. So if Apple delivers 12 gigabytes of RAM on the iPhone 17, it will finally match Samsung's flagship phones in this key hardware specification. Of course, some Android phones go even higher with 16 or 24 gigabytes of RAM, but 12 gigabytes is still a solid upgrade that closes the gap. Interestingly, Apple has never really made RAM specs a big deal in their marketing. You don't get them bragging about how much RAM the iPhone has during their launch events, and it's often not even listed prominently on their website product pages. This has been part of Apple's strategy to focus on the overall user experience rather than just numbers on paper. With the iPhone 17, this strategy might be evolving. Apple seems to recognize that to support more advanced AI features and keep up with the competition, more RAM is necessary. AI and machine learning capabilities demand more memory to run smoothly, and as Apple expands these features, increasing RAM will help maintain a seamless experience for users. So what can we expect from an iPhone 17 with 12 gigabytes of RAM? While it doesn't guarantee a massive jump in everyday speed for most users, it will likely make a difference in handling more intensive tasks, multitasking, and especially AI-related functions. This could mean smarter Siri responses, better on-device AI processing, and improved performance in apps that rely heavily on AI. To sum it up, the iPhone 17's RAM boost marks a shift for Apple. For a long time, Apple's tight integration of hardware and software allowed them to skimp on RAM compared to Android phones. But now the competition, especially from Samsung, is pushing Apple to raise the bar. If the rumors hold true, next year's iPhone 17 lineup will finally bring Apple's RAM up to speed with Samsung's Galaxy S25 Ultra, making it a more direct competitor in terms of raw hardware specs. And if supply chain issues don't get in the way, you might even see this higher RAM on all iPhone 17 models, including the slim iPhone 17 Air. If there's a hiccup, Apple will at least aim to make 12 gigabytes standard across all iPhones, starting with the iPhone 18 next year. So Apple fans, get ready. The iPhone is about to match Samsung in the RAM department, finally giving you that big RAM energy many Android users have enjoyed for years. It's a smart move by Apple as it prepares for the future, especially with AI becoming a bigger part of our daily phone experience. We'll have to wait for the official launch to see how this translates in real-world performance, but the RAM upgrade is definitely a welcome step forward.